Let's put to the test the most viral egg dang hacks. I will be using eggs with the white shell for this one to make sure that we will get the best results. I only need a few ingredients for all of the tests. First one would be turmeric. Then I have prepared a few packs of hibiscus tea. Very easy to find. I will also need the peels of one red and one normal onion. And some red wine. Let's begin with the easiest method. I'm taking a small pot, putting my 3 eggs in there. I lay the hibiscus tea on top with the packets and I just cover with water. It is very important that the water is above the eggs, so we make sure that we color them evenly. Even when the water is still cold, you can see how it's already colored by the tea. I will drizzle some apple cider vinegar as I usually do with standard paint. Once the water is boiling, we leave it for another 10 to 15 minutes to simmer. Then we let it rest for at least another 10 minutes. I even lowered the heat a little bit as I saw that the water is boiling too much. Time for the reveal. Did this actually work? I see some coloring signs already. Let's take one egg out. It has this soft concrete color, kind of reminding of a moonstone. Something that maybe I shouldn't have done is I wiped it right away with a napkin and part of the color faded away. It created a nice effect, but if you're not looking for this, you can let it cool first. Here is the final result. I am amazed of how this worked and I'm definitely gonna try it again. Okay, let's go with test number 2. Just like the first time, I put all 3 of my eggs in a small pot. I covered them completely with water. And last but not least, this time I am only adding a few tablespoons of turmeric. I didn't really measure it, I just wanted to make sure that we have enough to color the eggs. This is how it looks. Here the water is still cold. I am adding again just a touch of vinegar. Similar to the first attempt, you just let it boil and simmer for about 10 to 15 minutes. Once it's off the stove, you can let it cool for about 10 to 15 minutes again. If it starts bubbling too much, you can lower the heat just to make sure that the eggs will be fine. And that's it! Now we can check the final result. Fair warning, this stains a lot, so make sure that you have gloves on hand. I ended up rinsing the eggs as they had too much turmeric on them. This is the final result. This amazing vibrant yellow honestly works better than artificial dye. To give them a glossy finish, I covered them with sunflower oil. I am absolutely in love with this effect. Highly recommend. I can confidently say that I'm not using artificial dye again, and I definitely give them a 10 out of 10. Time for test number 3. I pour some onion peels in a bowl and I make sure to cut them on very small pieces so they can stick to the eggs easily. I used the peels of one red onion and one yellow onion for this one. I'm also going to need a glass of water, and I'm laying out the 3 eggs that I will be using for this test. Now all I need to do is dip the eggs in the water and then in the bowl of peels so they can stick to the eggs. I also used my hands to push the peels onto the egg. Once you're done with this, you can put the egg in a cheesecloth or something similar that you have at home. You need to wrap the egg tightly. Last step is you tie it well. You can use anything that you have at home, any thread would work. I even used the one from my tea. Once it's wrapped, it should look something like this. Here is an even closer shot of how it looks. Next step, we take a small pot. We add about a tablespoon of sea salt, a few packets of hibiscus tea, and we add the eggs inside. Cover as usual with cold water. Make sure to cover the eggs well. This tea again almost instantly starts to spread its dye. That's it. Now you again bring it to a boil. Let it simmer for about 10 to 15 minutes. Only this time, once you take it off the stove, you let it cool off entirely. I was genuinely the most excited about this one, so let's see the reveal. I am carefully unwrapping by cutting the thread. And here we go. Let's get rid of the peels. Another absolutely amazing success. This marble effect is stunning. Look at the marks from the yellow onion. Final result is just gorgeous. 10 out of 10. Time for the final test. To a pot, add 3 tablespoons of sugar. Place your eggs in. And cover completely with red wine. This one is more time consuming, so make sure that you start early enough. This is all. Now you just again bring it to a boil. This time let it simmer on low heat for about 15 to 20 minutes. After which you let it cool for at least 6 to 8 hours. The evaporating wine smell is very pungent and strong, so I highly recommend for you to open a window while doing this. Time for the last reveal. We've been going so strong so far, let's see how this one turns out. Look at this rich dark Bordeaux color. This glittery shiny egg definitely deserves some praise. I give it 9 out of 10. Which is your favorite egg? Let me know in the comments, and thank you so much for watching.